Africa, my friends, is like that new kid in school everyone wants to be friends with. Why? Because Africa is booming with potential. We're talking about a continent rich in natural resources, a young and vibrant population, and a rapidly growing economy. It's no wonder that everyone wants a piece of the action. Now, with the world becoming increasingly interconnected, Africa's importance on the global stage is clearer than ever. We're not just talking about economic power, but also political influence. African nations are finding their voice and making themselves heard in international forums. But hold up, it's not all sunshine and roses. This newfound attention comes with its own set of challenges. Africa needs to make sure it doesn't become a pawn in a global game of chess between major powers like the BRICS nations and the West. And that, my friends, is where things get really interesting. Okay, let's talk about BRICS. Who are they? Well, it's like the cool kids table in the global cafeteria right now. We're talking about Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These emerging economies are making waves with their economic muscle and their desire to reshape the global order. Now, the BRICS nations have a different approach than the West. They're all about South-South cooperation, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, developing countries, let's work together and look out for each other. They've even started their own bank, the New Development Bank, to fund infrastructure and development projects in emerging economies. It's like they're creating their own financial system, separate from the traditional Western-dominated institutions. So, for African nations looking for alternatives to Western influence, BRICS seems like a pretty attractive option. But, as always, there are two sides to every coin. Now let's talk about the West. They've been the dominant force in global politics for, well, a long time. We're talking about countries like the United States, Canada, the European Union, Japan, and Australia. The West has a long history in Africa, some of it good, some of it, let's just say, not so good. But one thing is for sure, they still have a lot of influence on the continent. Western nations are major investors in Africa, providing aid, supporting development projects, and engaging in trade. They also wield significant political clout and are key players in international organizations like the United Nations. So for African nations, maintaining ties with the West is still strategically important. But with the rise of BRICS, African leaders are starting to question whether the old ways of doing things are still in their best interests. So Africa is caught in a bit of a tug-of-war between BRICS and the West. It's like being at a party and having two groups of friends trying to drag you to different sides of the room. On the one hand, aligning with BRICS offers the promise of greater economic cooperation, access to new markets and investments, and a platform to challenge the existing global order. It's like joining a new club where the rules haven't been written yet, and you have a chance to shape the agenda. On the other hand, the West offers stability, familiarity, and access to established institutions and markets. It's like sticking with your old crew, knowing what to expect, even if it doesn't always feel exciting. So, which way should Africa go? Well, my friends, that's the million-dollar question. Section 5. Navigating the challenges. Here's the thing. Aligning with either BRICS or the West comes with its own set of challenges. It's not as simple as picking a team and calling it a day. With BRICS, there are concerns about transparency, accountability, and the growing influence of China. Some worry that African nations could become overly reliant on Chinese investment, leading to a new form of dependency. And with the West, there's the legacy of colonialism, neo-colonialism, and the feeling that African interests are often sidelined in favor of Western priorities. Plus, let's not forget the double standards and hypocrisy that sometimes come with Western engagement. So, it's a bit of a tightrope walk for African leaders. They need to find a way to maximize the benefits of engagement with both BRICS and the West, while minimizing the risks. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that delicate balance. Section 6. The non-alignment option. Now, some folks might say, hey Trevor, why does Africa need to choose sides at all? Can't we just be friends with everyone? And you know what? That's a valid point. The idea of non-alignment, of charting an independent course and playing the field, is gaining traction. African nations are realizing they don't have to be beholden to any one power bloc. They can forge their own path based on their own national interests and priorities. It's about saying we're not here to be anyone's pawn, we're here to play the game our way. Section 7, the power of negotiation. Here's the thing about this whole BRICS versus the West situation. It's not a zero-sum game. Africa doesn't have to choose one or the other. It's all about leverage, baby. By playing the field strategically, African nations can negotiate better deals, attract more investment, and ensure their voices are heard on the global stage. It's like being at a market, haggling for the best price. You don't just accept the first offer, you shop around, compare prices, and use your bargaining power to get the best deal. That's the game Africa needs to play. It's about being smart, being strategic, and knowing your worth. Section 8, a future of strategic partnerships. The future of Africa's relationship with both BRICS and the West doesn't have to be about choosing sides. It's about building strategic partnerships that benefit everyone involved. It's about finding common ground, working together on shared challenges like climate change, poverty, and inequality, and creating a more just and equitable world order. Imagine a world where Africa isn't seen as a continent in need of saving, but as an equal partner in progress. A world where African voices are not just heard, but listened to. That's the kind of future we should all be striving for. Section 9, Africa's time to shine. So, there you have it, my friends. Africa is at a crossroads, facing a complex geopolitical landscape. But amidst the challenges lies an incredible opportunity: the rise of BRICS, the evolving role of the West, and the growing assertiveness of African nations are creating a perfect storm for change. It's time for Africa to step into the spotlight, to embrace its potential, and to shape its own destiny. The world is watching, and the possibilities are endless.